the agreement was ever clear enough. Now Iran is threatening to walk away from talks altogether, putting the peace deal in danger before a final agreement is ever reached. Here with us now, former U.S. CENTCOM Deputy Commander Vice Admiral Robert Harward Jr. Thank you for being here, sir.
Good to be with you.
You know, we're trying to make sense of it all and seeing where we're going to come out on the other side. We're seeing U.S. airstrikes and Iranian attacks on Bahrain and Kuwait. In your view, does this look like a temporary setback, or has the deal already fallen apart altogether?
Well, I think this is something President Trump administration have said repeatedly. We're dealing with a different regime now. And when you say regime in Iran, it means a different government. I believe the speaker, the president, others of those who are at the negotiations are looking for a way out for Iran. But at the end of the day, the IRG really controls all of this. And as you can see, they do not want to be able to give up anything to America, be it the nuclear weapons program, their missiles, their drones, or funding their surrogates. So anytime they see those political leaders coming to some sort of agreements, they're going to do everything they can to undermine it. So I think that's what set off this attacks on the commercial shipping and others. So at the end of the day, that's the group that's going to affect this more so than anything else. And you're seeing those internal dynamics in Iran really dictate the pace and the outcome of these negotiations.
Yeah, and then you've got U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Mike Walz, said today that talks are still moving forward, but saying Iran's leverage is fading and President Trump's patience is getting limited. Let's listen to that.
The president's patience isn't going to last forever. Discussions are ongoing, particularly at a technical level of how to get inspectors in, the downblending, and the other pieces that are focused on ensuring Iran never has a nuclear weapon. But they need to understand their leverage is diminishing by the day. The Gulf Arabs are creating all kinds of alternatives to the Straits of Hormuz. Their leverage is diminishing. Ours is increasing. They would be wise to take a diplomatic solution and back away from this obsession with a nuclear weapon.
So, okay, if that's the case, why is Tehran now threatening to walk away? And where do you think that these talks will go from here? I mean, what's your prediction?
Well, I think it's clear we are in the position of power. And the financial tools, the blockade, had really been the part that flipped the coin for the Iranians. Now tie that to these military actions, and it only increases the pressure. So the president of this administration controls those rheostats, and I think they're going to crank those up till they reach their objectives. Now, the IRGC doesn't want to capitulate on any of that. So I anticipate this is going to be worse before it gets better. But over the long term, that may be in our best interest to force this regime. And when I say the regime, I mean the IRGC out of control, so those political leaders and the people of Iran can really make those decisions on behalf of their country.
Yeah, and then you've got the back and forth of who did what first. Iran says the U.S. broke the truce first, while Washington says Iran did. Yesterday, Democratic Congressman Gil Cisneros told me that the MOU still needs to be much clearer. Let's listen to that.
I think the strikes really just kind of show how fragile this MOU is. From the beginning, it was way too broad. It didn't really kind of define or do anything. It brought Iran to the table to negotiate, but they didn't really have to give anything up. Well, they were receiving hundreds of billions of dollars from the United States just for coming to the table. We need to do a better job of negotiating and getting there and really kind of fine-tuning what this agreement is going to mean and really get to the ceasefire.
So when you take a look at the deal, do you think that there's vagueness in there that's causing the fighting, or do you think it would have happened anyway?
I think the fighting would have happened anyway. The IRGC does not want to capitulate. But again, we need to be very clear in all of our objectives, and first and foremost being the Straits of Hormuz. Iran has no right to stop or impede traffic or commerce. And now, as you said, the Arab nations are taking measures to make sure that's less relevant. Next comes the nuclear weapons program, and to ensure that never moves forward, you have to take control, hand over the material, ensure the IAEA inspectors have unfettered access throughout the country, and then we need to verify the activity of the IAEA. And then third, I would say in prioritization, ensure there's no funding going to the surrogates who have been working on behalf of the regime to destabilize, if not implode, Lebanon, Yemen, and other countries in the region. And then finally, the missiles and drone program. So we need to be very clear and precise on what we want from all of those objectives and ensure the government, be it the civilian leaders or the IRGC, agree to all of those stipulations. And that's the only way this is going to come to a peaceful resolution for everyone involved.
Yeah, and we're also always trying to read between the lines. Bahrain and Kuwait both host major U.S. military facilities, but in Bahrain, Iran didn't directly hit the U.S. base last night. So what message was Tehran trying to send? If you could, real quick, I'm up against the clock.
Sure, they just want to show they still have tools of power. They want to enhance their position. So it didn't matter what they hit. The fact that they still have missiles and drones and can shoot that at anyone in the region, U.S. forces, our allies, our bases, is their objective here, to reinforce that they are a threat in the region, to enhance their position in the negotiations.
All right, we'll see how it plays out. I'm so glad to have your voice on this, sir. Former U.S. CENTCOM Deputy Commander, Vice Admiral Robert Harward, Jr. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, right now, crews are working to keep the algae